right, so for this first video, we're going to look at different types of YouTube creators. Sanjay, can you give us a bit of a list of what kind of things you can find on YouTube?
Well, I usually watch a lot of news related documentaries which don't necessarily have to be really long. They can be like really short, either 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But I also enjoy sometimes watching daily vlogs or uh, people who have their own channel and do a more personalized take on things.
Yeah, and you get a lot of different things on YouTube. You get cooking shows, reaction videos, comedians, science experiments, crafts. So there are a lot of options out there, but it's good when you're starting a YouTube channel to figure out what type of YouTube channel you want. Are you going to be a reaction video channel? Are you going to be a daily vlogger? So let's take a look at some of these examples. And I think one good place to start is with Casey Neistat.
So Casey started like a decade ago. He used to make home videos and with whatever equipment he could find, whatever camera he could find, and then over time he polished his vlogs, traveled, documented his daily life adventures. You can say like he likes to say it, his vlogs are a concentrate of everything exciting and sometimes exaggerated way of showing what is going on in his life.
I think one thing that has really worked for Casey also is like he is relatively consistent. So he publishes often multiple times a week. Sometimes he'll go off the radar for a bit, and he can afford to because he has so many followers now. But when you're starting out, you really want to have some level of consistency. Once a week is a pretty good place to start from when you're building. But what kind of content you want to be posting once a week, you have to make those decisions. But let's first take a look a little bit at Casey Neistat. What do you think makes Casey's content so popular on YouTube?
I think Casey's blog really took off when he was doing his first startup. I think it was his first startup, Beam. He was documenting the process of like launching a startup. So that kind of made for a reality show kind of an effect for his channel, where he would do his daily updates, or eventually it also became about him being an inspirational speaker and doing his gigs, whether it was for like video related or doing brand deals with Nike or advertisement or shooting whatever or traveling and anything extraordinary, things he would get sent, his reviews that he would do, whether it's the laceless Nike shoes or if it's the boosted board or it's the latest drone. Casey Neistat would have it on his channel. So those things really worked for him.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one thing that beginners to YouTube should not take from Casey Neistat is that titles like this, which is just so glad we did this, don't usually work unless you already have a following to begin with. People usually want to know what's going on in your video and what they can be expecting in the title until you get to a point where they're following you just for your personality.
Yeah, basically, unless someone is like switched on the notifications for your channel, they're not going to get the video served in their feed unless you're doing something that's trendy or something that's searchable. Because the only two ways someone's going to find your content on YouTube is by either seeing the thumbnail on their feed, either at their home or in the subscription or different parts of YouTube, or when they're searching for something. Like if you've done a video about how to repair your shoes on a budget, someone who would be searching for that is more likely to see it than anyone else on YouTube.
Absolutely. There are examples, though, of Casey Neistat having titles that people would really search for, and one that's popping out to me right now is this one, which is the DJI Mavic vs. Phantom 4S versus GoPro Karma. So that's 3 major brands of drone, and people really like watching comparison videos, especially for filmography, photography, and everything. So this sort of, this title tells you everything about what's going to be in the video. You know what to expect, and you're going to search for it.
And Casey Neistat is pretty popular. And one video that really that reminds me of this trend jacking, or like some really searchable term, is how to vlog like Casey. So let's check out how to vlog like Casey.
Yeah.
And the second video that shows up is not Casey Neistat. The first video is Casey Neistat, which is fair. Well, Casey Neistat should have a say in how people can vlog like him. But the second video is a little more interesting.
Hello internet friends, it is Sarah. In this video I'm talking about everyone's favorite vlogger and how to Casey Neistat a vlog in Casey Neistat vlogging format. So before we get into it, let's talk about some things that you're going to need. 32 miles, 5:30 a mile pace. Not too bad, not too bad.
So you immediately see the similarities, like the running, the random camera movement, and the big bold text announcing what video this is, which is just a serial number into the vlogs. And this video got a shout out from Casey, who saw it and was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And after that, Sarah's channel went from thousands to 100,000s, like within a few months.
And speaking of Sarah, we should actually take a look at her channel because she's got some interesting stuff going on. Sarah does a lot of tech reviews, and you know, you can see a big difference in the titles that she has compared to some of Casey's, but then also some similarities. Something like big news, that's something Casey does on a very regular basis, but here, you know, you see the exact, you know, names of things that people would search for when they're released and stuff like that. You can tell the difference between when she's covering a trending story versus when she's not. You see a difference in her views. So she covered the Apple event and she has 363,000 views. But the day before the Apple event, she did the best electric skateboard, which wasn't really trending. It was just a random review, and she got 16,000 views.
And look at the ultimate laptop comparison, MacBook Pro versus other video, which is also similar to Casey's drone versus different drone video, which basically compares the latest hardware or in some particular aspect, and these things do well. So when her audience is also kind of tech focused, so this doesn't necessarily mean that the same video would work for someone else, but it does help get you some amount of like boost in terms of your channel viewership.
Yeah, here on this video she has almost 1 million views, which she doesn't usually get on most of her videos. So let's look at another type of channel, Binging with Bobbish. I'm binging with Bobbish, there it is. So tell us a little bit about this channel.
So this channel is basically a cooking show which recreates some iconic recipes either from TV shows or any popular pop culture reference. So the format of the show is very simple. It starts with a recipe, and throughout the recipe there is some really interesting, funny narrative that keeps that the chef gives to the entire process. And that's it. That's all there is, and it's a really successful channel.
And yeah, look at his views, right? He has 1.5 million, 1.2, 1.3, and look at this title also. Binging with Bobbish, so he's, you know, making it easy for people to search for his videos because he's got his name in the title. And Johnny Cakes from The Sopranos. People might be looking for segments from the show and might fall upon his video. So he also has a very like particular shooting style that's completely different. You barely see his face. You hear his voice throughout the video, but you're only really seeing his hands doing the cooking. So, and all of his videos are like this. You can even see it in the thumbnail. So we also have Sunny Lidarduzzi. Tell us a little bit about her channel.
So the channel is mostly advice about how to use content like YouTube videos to boost your other businesses, whether it's a travel business or it's a writing business, how you can use video as a value add to boost your viewership and following.
And she has very clickable titles, right? Because it's like things that people, if they're trying to build something, maybe even people who are taking this course have done. Be like, how to boost my YouTube channel, how to find story ideas, that sort of thing. These are things that you'll type into Google or you'll type into YouTube, and those are exactly her titles. So that means that her content is very easy to find.
She's consistent and manages to get deals and like consultancy gigs based on her YouTube channel. At least that's what she claims. So your views aren't something that completely dictate how much value your YouTube channel adds to it, but it's how you use it or how that presence helps you land other gigs.
Yeah. What I will say about channels like hers and a lot of the other people that we've seen is they do make it seem effortless, but it's really not. They're at a point where they will have put thousands and thousands of hours into their channels. The growth is not immediate. It's slow, especially if you're not able to or not willing to boost it with money. And it just takes up an insane amount of time, not just in terms of making the videos, but making your videos visible by adding all of the extra information that Google and YouTube look for, by promoting it on other social media channels. So it's really not an easy process. These are some ideas of like a couple types of channels that you can find on YouTube. You can also find a whole bunch of other examples, and going forward we're going to be talking a little bit more about what to do once you've identified what you want your channel to be.